Here's the dollar bill, but where did it come from? Well, if you don't know, it was printed by the Federal Reserve, a company that's supposedly for profit, and of course they're private. You can't invest in them. It was founded by ex-slavers shortly after they ended slavery. Created to be a modern replacement to slavery, and they print these off, then they give them to a secret list of banks. The only one we know for sure is Goldman Sachs. This week is a huge week for the Federal Reserve. A lot of news coming out about them, and it's drastically affecting the crypto and the stock prices. So let's talk about what's happening. The reason they call America the neo-Nazi nation is because during the Civil War, we made a major mistake during the Union and left a lot of those people in power instead of doing the right thing and stripping them completely of power and throwing them in the streets. They have infested our government, every branch, with their neo-Nazi terrorists, and during the coronavirus, what they were doing is printing those dollar bills, not only giving them to the banks, but also buying stocks with them, creating the second biggest stock bubble in American history, rivaled only by the internet bubble and exceeding the old bubble back in the 1930s. You can think of the stock market as a propped up old man, just like the people who run it. A lot like National Lampoon Vacation, where they had to prop up their dead grandmother. There's two things people are watching this week. First one is called the taper. That's where they were buying those stocks to help prop up our rich white people, doing reverse socialism in the most corrupt neo-Nazi nation, and by doing so they prove that they are not actually for-profit organization, because they're buying them in a bubble when everybody knows the price is complete shit. When you're printing your own dollar bills, it's impossible not to make a profit. They could just as easily give that money to poor people who are homeless on the streets and their children are starving during coronavirus. And the stock market hasn't had any logic at all. You know, coronavirus comes, it's up. Trump gets in office, it's up. Until you compare it to money printing and you see that those purchases by the Fed are the only thing holding it up. And this is a major problem for retired people, because they've convinced us giving them money is the solution to everything, including your retirement. So just know that's what they mean by the taper this week, and that rates, I think you know what those are. So that's the borrowing rate, the normal interest rate.